KILLA podcast. KILLAofficial.com.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a KILLA podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999.
KELA Sweet 16 streaming across all music platforms now. Featuring 16s from Tina Kamau, Orifice Volgatron, Foreign Beggars, Marga, Bob Villain, Illerman, and Trigger. The sounds of KELA Sweet 16s streaming now.
AG Dentistry. In my line of work, not only does what I do with the mouth get reviewed, it's also my instrument. And it's beyond important to me that my teeth get the professional service they deserve. The AG family provide expert dentistry, whether it's NHS or cosmetic. They're the finest in London. Head over to agdentistry.co.uk for more information on treatments and prices. AG Dentistry. Beatbox created.
KILLA.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
KILLA podcast.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, KELA podcast coming to you live and direct as per usual. Subscribe, do not sleep, I repeat, do not sleep on my repeat. All right. Now, we got a guy that I've seen circulating around my orbit for a while, and yeah, I'm really pleased to have him inside. I think I discovered you through that tune Plan. This is the mighty big Heath.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Cambridge finest.
Yeah, man. Cambridge. Born and bred. Cambridge, man. All day.
I mean, Cambridge for a rap scene.
Yeah.
I think we kind of touched on this. It has a very similar trait to other secondary cities.
Yeah.
Where it's their own ecosystem, in it.
Yeah, like I think because it's kind of an hour away from London, so it's like it kind of gets the trends from London, but it's still very like cut off.
Yeah.
So like everything like in Cambridge kind of stays in there, but I'm trying to like break that.
Yeah, of course. It's interesting when you go to Cambridge. It also applies to the kind of characters. Like in other cities, you've got a student population, but you guys have that. But then you've got the tourist population.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole nother level of thing.
Crazy. Like it's weird because like this is like going real deep into the Cambridge history. It's like because of the university's been so old and so well known. Mate, the amount of like Chinese tourism and all that comes, mate, just to see like the Cambridge, like the old streets and that, which to me I class as like normal because obviously I've grown up with that, but for them it's such a big thing that like tourism is just huge there, mate. Now, like it's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
There was a couple of spots that I used to go to all the time, and there was one called the Cellar. The venue called the Cellar.
I've not heard of that, mate.
It was an old drum and bass spot anyway.
Okay.
It was in one of those kind of more populated high streets, and they have these crazy barriers, you know, because everything's protected around there.
Yeah. Like it's a lot different. It's not somewhere like where people go, oh, you can leave your back door open, but compared to living around here, mate, where I live now, like it's a lot more like you know your next door neighbours, like you kind of know everyone, so it's a lot more like community. Yeah.
Community's key, man. Like, it takes a while to get into the psyche of the community around you, innit?
Massively.
Being from Cambridge, I would imagine like those things hold quite dear to you, don't they?
Yeah, man. Like I love where I'm from, man. Like I'm very like quintessential English, really. Like just very kind of old school. I think Cambridge gets a weird rep actually, where you say you're from Cambridge, everyone thinks you're posh. I've never really understood that. It's like, we've got some of the best universities in the world, but the actual people from Cambridge don't normally go there.
No.
It's like the 0.01% of the best intellectuals in the world, which obviously there's some people from Cambridge that go there, but it tends to be just the best from all around the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're not really posh, like, actual from Cambridge, innit? But,
now, Cambridge, I know some pretty good areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know a couple of graffiti writers from around there and all that. You know? Used to go hanging out there. There was a place called was it called the Junction?
The Junction, yeah, I know Junction well.
Spot.
Had some dirty nights in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Used to be so popping back in the day.
Yeah.
Like the hip hop scene over there was just like
crazy.
Sick,
mate. Yeah.
So let's
really
get into
sick.
that. So you obviously have cut your chops
Yeah.
around the scene, and like because you're young in the game, but you seem to be real heavily influenced on a more golden era.
Yeah, man. I think, bro, that comes back from being from Cambridge as well. It's like, maybe if I was growing up in London, I'd have been more caught up in what was happening these days in London, because I wasn't in London. You're always late to the trends. So when I was growing up, mate, I just loved, mate. Obviously, like the only hip hop I could listen to was on iTunes. So I put my dad's card on my iTunes, which is, mate, to this
G
day,
move, the original G move.
Mate, trust me, and I that's a different story. But once I remember him being like, "What the?" Anyway, and mate, I was just listening to all old hip hop from like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Big L, like everyone. I didn't like do it intentionally either. I just enjoyed. Like I just went and listened to it and was like, "This is sick."
Yeah.
Like I didn't intentionally go, "I'm gonna listen to the old school hip hop." I just heard it and was like, I'm a big fan of like music, like not just music, but in terms of like instruments and hip hop, which I feel like these days is very computer based and we've lost that. So like growing up from quite a musical family, old school hip hop has a lot more like instruments and composure in it.
Yeah.
So I think I've always loved kind of that stuff. Like, mate, you listen to like the Daddy Kane. There's like a horn and everything, like every song. So it's like even if he's not spitting, you're like, yeah, this is a jam.
Yeah,
like, it's sick. Yeah.
Samples. That's the whole sample era. I mean, nowadays it's called alternative hip hop. That sound now is
Which I find crazy.
Yeah.
It's like alternative hip hop is hip hop. Okay, like when did we get to that
Yeah,
stage?
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's mad.
It's crazy how that organism it turns around and it's like
That's actually a really good point. Actually, I've never thought about that. Yeah, actual hip hop is now called.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
I think it's. I mean, in a way, it's better that than outdated because, like,
Yeah, true.
That's a real bad trait with rock and roll and jazz and all those
But
reggae.
I agree, but I think there's a weird grey area between rap and hip hop. It's like all hip hop is rap, but not all rap's hip hop. If you get me.
Yeah, I do get it.
So it's like there's so much stuff these days which is rap, but somehow it's called hip hop, and it's like no, that's not hip hop.
It's so
Like,
true.
so you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? Like I don't know when we really got to the stage, because I think when I was growing up as well, mate, like even commercial rap was, I'm not saying more skilled, but it still was more hip hoppy to me. Like when Kanye was good Kanye, and he was making like, mate, there's still like old school drums.
Yeah.
But he's like reinvented it as a new sound.
Yeah.
When now it's completely lost. Like we don't really have any old school kind of roots in the new rap. Which for me, like growing up, man, I think that's why I love old school as well. Because even when the stuff that I was hearing on air still had that kind of some old school parts to it.
Yeah. I think with you're absolutely right. First off, you're totally right off the bat. There seems to be a disparity between, I don't know, something up to 2009, 2010, 2011, and all of a sudden, it just did a leap.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the DNA of like, even with skateboarding and other kind of types of set skills, I think the technology gave people such a window.
You're so right. Like it's just culture. Like when I see like my little cousin at Christmas, I saw him this year at Christmas. I was the first time in my life I felt old. I was like talking to him, and he was just telling me stuff, and I was like, "Wow, like is that how kids think?" I was like, "Wow, like even like I'm only like 22," and I was like, "Wow, like you guys are fully think about stuff."
That's
so
hilarious.
like so unnatural. It's so like it's all how do I look to others?
Yeah.
It's so like know whether you're enjoying something. Like I can't remember now what he was doing. He was doing something, and I was like, he looked so annoyed, and I was like, why are you playing the app? I think he was playing an app. He was like, because everyone else is playing it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, well, if you're not enjoying it, what are you doing it for? And when that comes around with music as well, it just kind of like, I think people these days are so obsessed with being cool.
Yeah.
They've kind of lost like why they got into it.
It's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
And, I think there's something to be said about, like, and not just young kids, olders too, believe, like,
man.
people older than us, like, when they're, like, using that shit to take advantage of their... They then manipulate their personality to be a certain sort of thing,
Definitely,
and they're
bro.
keeping up the Joneses. Like,
Definitely, bro.
It's like, dude, just calm.
I think that's why I think the more I get into the industry, I realise that's why there's so many like depression and mental issues in music. I find is because if you're not at one with who you're portraying to the audience. So Chris Heath is Big Heath. Like when people meet me, they're like, you're the same person. But you get a lot of, especially in rap, because it's all about your image and being cool. I think you get a lot of people that their artist brand is so different from who they are.
Like way.
Yeah. Like it's like it must be a constant battle of not being themselves. And then when you go to bed at night and you rest your head on your pillow and you think to yourself, like there must be so many mental things going in your head. Like you're not happy with who you are and like content. And I think that really plays me. Like mate, like I saw some stat last week. Like it was the most musicians like that died last year ever, and it was all most from rap, from like taking drugs and like pills and that. Whoa. And it's quite like a depressing thing to think, mate. Back in the day when it was like rock and roll, like, do you know what I mean? Like all them like greats, and you think like now we're in a period where we should be like, well, not we should be, but you think we'd be more advanced and more open about these. But in fact, we're just kind of the other way.
Yeah, I think there's some serious senseless insecurities about likes and
huge,
and
mate,
heart buttons.
Huge. Well, I remember was it Kanye that said? Yeah, it was Kanye. He did that tweet last year, and he said it's like these big companies, Instagram, YouTube, for a week should just have it where like you can't see any likes or like anything, and then see what songs are actually liked and played. Because so many people these days, mate, and mate, I'm the exact same. Yeah. I think everyone is subconsciously like, you look at something and you go, there's bound to be a little bit of influence if everyone else likes it, and you have to admit that. It's like, I think there's certain people these days it wouldn't be as big if someone didn't enjoy them. So I think it would be quite interesting to see like what actually would be played.
Hell yeah!
If like there was no likes, no YouTube views, you just literally you clicked it, you clicked like, that's it. But you couldn't see it. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's a genius idea.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said it. But just going back to the generational thing, I can't remember who said. I think it was Mad Skills that said it. Actually, he said that the decade before, the 50 Cents and all those kind of rappers, they were the drug dealers. They rapped about dealing. They rapped about the money they're dealing. In this generation, the kids are the abusers.
I've never thought about that.
I know.
And that's so, Jesus, that is...
It's the truth, ain't it?
That is so true. Wow.
They're the drug takers.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is actually mad. You're so right. Because like in that, I'd even say 50 was still in that era though, of like, I sell. Yeah. But you're so right. Yeah. Like these days it's cool to rap about Yeah.
So what is that?
Wow.
And like you say, back in the day, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, I didn't see anybody die.
Yeah.
They talk about heroin being a bad thing, but people are just committing suicide.
I think the culture's changed, not just in music, man, in life. I feel like, as I say, people are so obsessed with being cool and not caring. There's like this weird look now where if you don't care in life, you're cool. Like, I don't care about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so therefore you just take drugs. It's like, I don't care that I'm popping pills and like doing this. And it's like, all right, well, the only one you're harming is yourself.
Because you will grow to 40, 50,
course,
and you'll remember,
of course,
we're all in that business. All those tattoos.
Yeah.
People don't think past their phones. That's what's going on right now.
Exactly.
And they're not just young people, old people as well.
Yeah.
Old people who should know better.
Well, bro, like, you can go on Instagram, and I was horrified when I did this. You can see how long you spend on it averagely a day.
Dude, I did that the other week.
Mate, same. And I looked at it, and it said like an hour and 40 a day. And I was like, that's nearly 15 hours a week. And I'm asleep probably 7 hours a day. Actually a day. And I was like, that and I've cut it down like
scary.
Massively.
Yeah, you have to.
Have to.
Geezer, like, that's as bad as looking at your end of year accounts and realising how much you'd spent on fucking...
Worse.
It's worse, isn't it?
Worse.
Because you actually... Time is priceless.
Exactly, mate.
What the hell are we doing?
And like, I've noticed in myself, mate, like, I'll be on Insta, I'll shut it down, and I promise you, I'll open it back up in two. And I didn't even think of doing it. And I'm looking at it and I've been like, whoa, like, my subconscious has just opened up Instagram. And I was like, that has got to stop.
Habitual, isn't it? It's like...
It's crazy.
It's like I guess it's like lighting a fag or a cigarette to people. Actually, let's get into this, because while I was talking about habitual stuff, like, so you've officially, like, you quit smoking weed. This is it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds weird saying that. I just got to the point, mate, where like I've been smoking since I was... Wow, now when I say it out loud, it's been a long while. Like, probably since I was like, not heavily, but I started smoking when I was like 14, 15. Like, just every like Friday night with your mates, like you get in a bag and like, and obviously like back then it's so cheap because you're like getting high off like 3 tokes. Like, do you know what I mean? And between like 4 of you on a bag, it's like £5.
But then all of a sudden, as you get older,
Mate, you just get older, and then I've reached a point, mate, in university. Obviously, you smoke in uni, like it's all part of the fun and being cool.
Yeah.
And then, mate, yeah, I reached a point, mate, where I feel like I've done it, and I feel like weed, it can become such a controlling thing.
Yeah.
People that are in it and people that are watching that know it, they sometimes don't like to admit it, because obviously it's like a taboo, isn't it? It's like a taboo, like kind of the elephant in the room, where it's not just as we were saying, this kind of organic thing. Oh, you just smoke it and you feel fine. There are effects of being hooked on something that you think such an easy, like you smoke it and you'll be fine. No. If you're constantly in a state of mind, that can make your normal reality when you're not high, like feel like that's the difference. If you get what I mean. If you're high for so long, when you're not high, that feels weird.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they got to that point where I was like, okay, no, like I need to. And also, man, I feel I'm so much more in tune with like what's going on around me when I'm not high.
Yeah, you're alert.
But I feel like I didn't used to be like that. When I was 17 or younger, I could be high and I was still, I don't know, I was still like creative. Maybe I've just done it too much. Like maybe.
Or you hit a ceiling and you're just like, I can't even get creative on this no more.
I can't. If I smoke it, all I want to do is like sit there and like be tired. So I feel like, but trust me, it's not been easy to stop.
Yeah, there's some people that are functional with it. They like.
I find it crazy. I don't know how. But then they always say that like argument. People that smoke weed, they're like, yeah, because I always say like you can't be productive. People are like, yeah, but what about Snoop Dogg? I'm like, yeah, but what about the 99% of people that smoke weed that aren't him? Like you're just picking like the 1% of guy that's a
Dude,
rapper.
I hate when people do that. Like people pick these 1%ers, like not even a percent. They're like a ton.
Bro, it must be like 0.01% of people who smoke weed that are successful.
And that's why we do it, because he or her does it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People do that with the music industry a lot. They kind of like, when you sit down with someone and they're like, I want to be a singer. Okay, cool. So, like, you know, who's your comparative? Like, well, I want to be as successful as Adele or Ed Sheeran. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm not here to like manage your expectations, but you're talking about one person who's got their own lane, really mapped out to fine art. It's funny, isn't it? How people just they just think a certain way, and it's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think like it's become, as I was saying, mate. But just before we started to record, but like there's this new culture in the weed game right now where you buy these packs, and it's like imported weed, and then one, it's so expensive.
Is
like,
it
crazy expensive? Like we're talking like £100, £80 for like a 3 grams. Like it is crazy expensive.
Really? So what is it? And they come in like big packs?
Nah, so it comes in like a sealed. You know, you get them car air fresheners. Do you know that come in like a sealed tin?
Yeah.
It comes in that. Like you literally buy it in that, and that shit is like, it's so strong. Like, I'm not saying people don't smoke it. Like if you can smoke it and you enjoy it, go ahead. But like, I just spliffed it, and I was just like, I didn't feel high. I just felt fucked.
It's crazy how they let him get away.
Crazy, yeah.
And you've been to Amsterdam and whatnot before, you know the deal. I mean, as a seasoned smoker, you know what can fuck you.
Exactly. And it's like that is like it was another level. Level.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's the thing. Like, I went to LA, right, and I remember going to a barbecue and sitting there chilling by a pool, and everything's nice, you know. A couple of drinks and just vibing. And there's like a bowl full of sweets, and I was just looking at them because I was a little bit kind of jet lagged and glazed. I was just looking at them, and my friend turns and goes, oh, "Have you had one of them?" I'm like, "No," kind of shot back up, you know, back in the room, kind of thing. I was like, "No, I was just looking," and she goes, "Don't take them if you haven't had one. They are." You know, heavy weed-based like sweets.
Well, just sat there in a bowl.
But they like totally. Oh yeah, this one of these though will fuck you for 3 days. And I was told like there's some like serious high grade, high level concentrated. Think that ain't even. You don't even just smoke them. You can put. They've just gone into some like crazy thing.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's so many like there's so many things now that aren't there, mate. You can do weed. You can eat it. You can. Vape, but there's so many like different things. Like I mean, you can buy a like not lean the syrup, but you can buy like THC lean if you get what I mean.
What?
Yeah. And that but it gets to the point where it's like people are just having it in every scenario. So let's say you go to a pub or a football game and you can't smoke a spliff inside, then you're just gonna like have a sweet or pour that into your pint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
optional.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
There's a lot of like Shoreline Mafia, those rap guys from LA, and and Trippie Redd, like all these rappers. I mean, they are kind of endorse. They endorse like
Yeah,
the lean or the weed and all that.
Yeah.
I don't think though. I'll say this much: like it's always been like that, and I don't like we were saying about the people committing suicide or doing too much drugs. I don't know why it is. Drugs has always been like think Cypress Hill, think like back in the day, think like all these different,
But then I think obviously I wasn't about them really at the right age to like. Yeah. But I don't know what the weed was like back then. True. I feel like now it's just so concentrated growth. Like they mate, it's grown to get you really fucked. Like it's not grown just to go, oh, this is nice. It's grown so you can grow less, and it's the same like THC in it. So it's like, but again, like what Cypress Hill were big when in like early 2000s.
No, yeah, something like that.
So
like late 90s.
Yeah, so it's like obviously it was still grown then to be like hydro, they call it in the States, but like I can't imagine it being as bad as it is now. But saying that, he now owns the main guy that like owns like a weed company, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. So like, sick guy.
I tell you what, if any band deserves the right to own their own weed
exactly. It's got to be him.
Sim and Snoop, yeah. Talking of which, like lyrically and whatnot, now that you've stopped smoking, you see the wood for the trees. Like lyrically, what where are you at? Like where do you see your place in the grand scheme of the UK chapter?
It's a really good question. Something that me and my team always talk about, because like obviously you have to think about how you're gonna strategize and not blow my own trumpet. I don't see many people like me. I feel like coming from Cambridge, obviously I have a very, very different background to anyone from London. Like I still like appreciate, like I'm the biggest fan of like all rap. Like even if I can't relate to it, I still love it. Even if it's about like dirty, like hood shit, I still love that stuff. I think there's a time and place for everything. But my lyrics, I want people to, even if you can't relate to me, you respect me for being real. Like I'll never lie or try and like, I'm not a street person, but like I'll always be real, and I think like people respect me for that. I think like people like get it. It's like it's not me rapping about stuff that I don't do. It's like even if I talk about going around my grandparents for some soup, that's just some real shit.
Listen, street stuff, right? And it's always been like the case, like with me growing up as a kid. Like the street game overlaps into rural areas. A lot, almost like it comes in such a wave. I say that because, I'm from Sussex, and there's impressionable people over there.
Yeah, of course,
that
man.
see the street action in the cities, and they replicate it. But then they haven't got the money. It's like it's kind of a secluded kind of, and it becomes a macro scene, and everyone just like suffers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Bro, it's crazy. Like I see the same thing when I go home. You see like these 15-year-old kids listen to like hardcore drill. And again, mate, I respect every type of music, like drill's a time and place.
Sick,
But like, it's like these kids are like rolling about with shanks and knives, and it's like, just because you've heard someone do it, he lives in a complete different situation to you.
Yeah.
Like if you've got both parents that have got full-time jobs and bringing home 30 grand each, you don't need to be rolling around with a knife.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
It's like
100%.
I understand, and I think my generation or my year group or like that kind of that. I feel like we got that. We understood that. Because we were there for like the crossover.
Yeah.
But
you
like
were that transition.
Yeah, exactly. But like kids these days, I don't really understand. It's like, it's not. They might have a knife. Again, I don't justify it. I don't think anyone should have a knife. But there's certain scenarios where obviously it's more
fear.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to
exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're living in Cambridge in a nice. Again, not saying Cambridge posh, but you're living in like it's a nice place.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere near as much crime as here. It's like you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Like just be proud of who you are, mate. You can still listen to drill and like Screwface and like think you're sick. Like I do it.
Yeah.
But like I think there needs to be like in the youth these days a bit more like maturity and understanding that it's music.
Yeah. But that's culture. That's what I mean. Like you can be Screwface and do your thing and like say what's real to you in real life.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, when you add value to a bigger problem and cause that epidemic sort of that value over with things like knives and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I got mugged about a year ago, just down there. You know, kids like 17 years old pull the knife straight out of me. I'm like, all right,
hell.
cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, like, is it bad?
is it bad? Yeah. I mean, it took me. I mean, it was literally bus station.
What do they say? Just like,
you know
give
what?
me your shit.
I was walking.
I'd be so shook.
Yeah, I was just walking back, and I'm like
Yeah.
coming back from the shop. I just went down the wrong fucking path.
Yeah.
But no one was out anyway. No one was about. So
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone wants to go on the other road. It wouldn't make much of a difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I just heard a oi like in the back, and I know who it was because I saw the kids, and my first thing was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought it was gonna have to be like a slap around the ear.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and it was like they threw their bikes down and straight out the knife. So I'm like, they ain't even fine, not in front.